exactly.
Use PGP or something.
That's what we do at EC2. S3 storage. We just encrypt everything before putting it there.
But also nothing's stopping the government from asking you for your keys.
Yeah, it's over, right?
But then they say for not turning over encryption keys. Yeah, they can throw you in jail for that.
But at least then they have to come to you and you know at least they're looking at it, unlike going to some company and saying, give us all this guy's stuff.
Well, the question is, are they getting warrants? Are they? I mean, if the government's getting warrants, then it's no different than.
We lose some benefits. The interesting thing is they said that because Dropbox does deduplication with hash codes. So let's say everyone here has like a Mac OS X system file. Dropbox stores it once, so they could prove that you have this file that other people have. So they could. So if they know a criminal has a certain file, then they could search all of Dropbox and find everyone that has that file. So they could find people that they don't even know they're part of something or connected to something. So if there's 10,000 people that have a pirated copy of Office, they could find all of them instantly.
Same thing used to happen in Kazaa, because they would do caches of all the files. They track down copyright violators.
Yeah.
There's also a security issue that came up with Dropbox. I think it was last week, it might have been 2 weeks ago, where basically tokens are used, and if somebody can sniff your token, they don't need your credentials to access your stuff.
The token is your credential.
Right.
So if they have that, there's no second layer authentication.
Right.
And even if you change your password, it doesn't matter, the token is still valid.
So keep your tokens private.
If you can.
I think if you drop to just one machine with Dropbox, deauthorize everything else, and then change your password or something, and then it's like a one-to-one.
And then you have to reauthorize each machine.
And then reauthorize each machine, and then you end up getting a new token. So it's really convoluted to get a new token.
Do you have a video on that?
No. But you know, the idea is that you could change your password 50 times in the next 2 years, and somebody that got your token today, 2 years from now, could just get access to your Dropbox.
Does Dropbox encrypt your at least your credential session, or actually probably your whole session?
I don't know. Somebody snitch. Let's see.
I mean, that would basically be the Facebook.
Because it's easy. I mean, just over between you and the server, easy to do. So probably yes, but that still wouldn't help. You have a token to just become one of the users of that Dropbox account.
The attack I saw for it was if there's malware on your machine, it could be sending tokens back to someone else. They could collect tokens from everyone and basically have everyone's Dropbox.
That sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
Big problem. So Jesse Jackson Jr. Everybody know about this? Do I need to cover this at all?
Blaming Apple?
Yes, please cover it.
iPad kills Dropbox.
I saw the headline. What is it?
Okay, so basically, he says it's probably the iPad 2, in quotes.
Just the second one.
Is is probably responsible for eliminating thousands of American jobs.
Aww.
I feel bad for those people who
How
did
is
go to
that?
iPad. You person sitting on my coffee table.
What's the logic behind that? I mean,
So,
where does he go with that idea?
There is none.
Right.
So the theory is you look at Borders, right? Borders, these companies that are doing print are going out of business. And
Damn you, innovation.
exactly.
Can we just as easily blame the Borders CEO for not doing something?
Yes, absolutely.
All those darn wagon manufacturers that went out of business when the car was invented.
Icebox makers, they're jerks.
Buggy whips.
It's terrible. So anyway, that's kind of the laughing stock of that thing. And then
Part of the argument is that American companies are sending the technologies over to China and over there rather than hiring Americans. That's part of his argument, is that doing that. Not so much the innovation, but the jobs that are going overseas.
How well would a $2,000 iPad sell?
The problem he's not talking about is that there are a lot of Chinese printing companies. So the cheapest way to print a book is to print it in China. And if you look at most of the books and magazines that are printed, a lot of them are not printed here. So if we're already printing it in China, then we're shipping them over. So now we can kind of cut all that out.
But the argument that he fails to bring up is consumer preference. Consumers are opting to consume digital content.
Right.
And that, above and beyond anything else, as somebody who's in the publishing industry, has a significant impact on what quantity of books are printed, the price point at which they're sold, and whether there's a digital edition offered. So it's consumer preference that's dictating. It's not the downfall of printed media and jobs going overseas.
Right, and actually I think it's great for books that will have a small run, because typically the biggest problem is you're an author, you have a book, some publisher says, yeah, some people will buy it, it's at 1,000. We have to do a $10,000 run to make it anywhere near profitable. With the elasticity of digital content, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Actually, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because print on demand allows you to print one copy.
Right.
Which means you don't have to, bigger companies have to have, you know, a 10,000 run in order to sell it, but with print on demand, you don't. So therefore, that argument makes it moot. It's a little more expensive per book, but it's nothing.
So something's come from this that's pretty interesting. You guys listen, who listens to Leo Laporte? Any of you guys listen to Twit? So you mentioned the other day on the podcast with Kevin Rose and a bunch of guys, talking about would you pay a premium if Apple introduced an iPad that was 100% US made? Would you pay a premium to have the US product? And I think there's a growing number of people that would actually pay for that, right? Because somebody from the chat room said you save like an average of 25% or something by going to China. Would you pay an extra 25% for an iPad to have one that's red, white, and blue?
Well, notice Apple, with their marketing, they always put designed in California, or at least they used to. So they're trying to say we're American made, you know, kind of.
Why not piggyback on the whole carbon footprint element of it and say, look, if you get it in the States, yeah, it might cost a little bit more, but the carbon, you know, that you've saved from shipping is worth the price.
Depending on the manufacturing technique that is used here versus overseas.
Well, I'm not saying it has to be actual. I'm saying the psychological reward of it is something that people would buy into. I mean, you sell, if I put an organic sticker on a piece of produce, people would only pay $1 more for it.
Yeah.
It's just the psychological element. It's interesting.
So
you're right, I'm just saying.
Apple doesn't say that it was designed by a Brit in California. Assembled in China. No, it's an interesting thing. I don't know.
What about the cheaper Kindles with the ads?
We talked about it. Yeah.
Not that much cheaper, it's $25.
$25 cheaper.
Yeah, people are all up in arms, and if you buy a newspaper, that's an ad-supported medium as well. So if you buy the less expensive Kindle, I don't want ads in my Kindle, well then fucking pay another $25.
The price difference isn't enough.
You don't get an ad.
My complaint isn't the cost of it, or that I don't want to see ads. It's $25 isn't worth ads to me.
And they're doing ads. I mean, it's just, they want to see okay, that price point, and then eventually will be another price point.
It should be free. I just think it should be free. You're gonna put ads on it, and it's free.
You don't get a newspaper for free. You have to go and buy your newspaper.
No, I don't. I don't.
Well,
I don't buy newspapers.
Because you get it online.
You choose how you consume the medium. So if you're choosing the portal and the device to consume the medium, then Amazon can sell it for whatever the hell they want.
True.
People will buy it.
I think, well,
Just like an American-made iPad.
it'll be interesting to see how.
It seems strange that they put that on the device though and not attach it to the content itself and say, you want this book for free or for less with ads or this book.
Maybe that's
Well, there probably might be less intrusive. It's only when you put it to sleep that you get the ad. Versus, I wouldn't want to be reading a book and then every 5th page was an ad for some shit I don't care about.
It's like Pandora.
But if I put it to sleep, I'm usually sitting it down anyway, so I wouldn't see that ad.
What if it's for shit you care about?
Unlikely, I've never seen an ad that usually is anything I care about. Especially someone that's going to advertise on my Kindle, it's probably going to be paying for some crazy stuff.
But if they know the book you're reading,
It's not going to be iPad.
Somebody overheard that, please.
Wait, Pampers, what was the deal?
Parents and Kindle owners.
You know, the one thing nobody has discussed in terms of book printing is the intellectual property regarding book printing. And I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, there was a company in Norway that printed very high-end books for law offices. They found a company in China that would do the same process, so they shipped the printing over to China. Well, after a few years, China said, we're going to triple the cost of it because we know the technology now, and they couldn't do anything about it. So keep in mind that while